Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Vegan Spirituality Online Gathering. I'm one of your hosts tonight. My name is Lisa Levinson, and I am absolutely thrilled to invite you to our special event tonight. What we do is we gather together every month or so, and we explore veganism as a spiritual practice. And we do that in person via our vegan spirituality community. You can find a group near you by going to veganspirituality.com. And from there, you may see a local group in your area. You can click to join via Meetup or Facebook, and then you can meet in person and to have discussions and also to build community together. So tonight we're going to be doing that online so that people from wherever you are can join in and celebrate this wonderful vegan lifestyle that we've all chosen together. So at this point, I'd like to introduce you to my co-host, Judy Carmen, who is the author of Peace to All Beings and also of her new book, Homo Ahimsa. And she will introduce you to our very special guest speaker tonight.
Hey everybody, it's so good to be here, and Lisa and I are really excited to introduce you to our guest, Dolly Vyas-Ahuja. And she is working with all of us to create a vegan world of loving kindness. I'm going to read from my notes about all the wonderful accomplishments that Dolly has. She's an Ahimsa animal activist, a public speaker, and a documentary producer. And we're going to hear more about that in just a little bit. Her mission is to spread awareness and education about the cruelty of the dairy industry. She comes from a Gandhian family and is the granddaughter of a freedom fighter for social justice in India. So we are in good company tonight. This is really amazing. One of her main objectives is to have Indian temples pledge to go cruelty-free and ban the use of dairy. She frequently speaks at Jain temples and various vegan events to stress the importance of switching to a plant-based diet for animals, the environment, and human health. She was honored to speak at the World Vegan Conference in New Delhi, India. She has spoken at various venues, including Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, the LA Reggae Veg Fest, vegan radio, a Rice University event, and the Consulate of India in New York. Her goal is to create a world where everyone lives their essential nature, which we've talked about a lot. That essential nature is ahimsa, and that is a nature of practicing compassion. She is producing this upcoming documentary called The Land of Ahimsa, and we're going to get to see a preview of that, which tonight. So that is very exciting. It's called The Land of Ahimsa. She hopes the film will inspire others to incorporate pure ahimsa into their daily lives. So Dolly, we're just so thrilled to have you with us. Let's begin, just for anyone who isn't familiar with the word ahimsa, to define that in your own way, and then also tell us a little bit about your life and how you grew up and found veganism. Were you born vegan, and all that good stuff? So please take the stage. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Lisa and Judy. And I'm so grateful to be here. And what an auspicious day, 11/11. And thank you so much. So, the word ahimsa was written in India about 5,000 years ago in India. And it means non-violence to all living beings, not just human beings, but all sentient beings. In everything we think, in everything we say, in everything we do. It is the most beautiful word that was ever written. And actually, in India, we say ahimsa paramo dharam, which means non-violence is the ultimate duty. It is the highest moral virtue one could have. And so my journey, I love to talk about my journey. 7 years ago, I started following Taoism and the way of the Tao. And I followed a Taoist teacher who taught me, to meditate outside and meditate under a tree, build a relationship with the tree, because trees carry a lot of knowledge and carry a higher vibration and frequency. So I would go to the tree every day and I would exchange oxygen and CO2 with the tree. I started putting my hands in the soil of the tree and I would ask, take all the toxins out of my body and decompose it to positive energy. So soon after this, I was watching videos by Charlotte Garrison from the Garrison Therapy Clinic. They make juices and they make juices to reverse cancer. It was like carrot, apple, and ginger juice. And I was like, wow, I got to start juicing for the health of my body. So I bought a juicer and I started making carrot, apple, ginger juice for me and my family. Later on, I got a Vitamix, made smoothies, and then got into green juice and lemon water and ginger and mint. And, so I'm actually a juicer and I love it. And I wasn't, vegan yet, but the tree was teaching me to like, get healthy. And I would continue to go to the tree and I would ask, show me knowledge, show me truth, make my heart grow bigger and bigger, let it multiply and multiply. Show me gratitude, compassion. And so one day I was walking home with my dog and I was watching a juicing recipe and I bumped into another video. And it was called The Best Speech Ever by Gary Yarovsky. And a lot of people watching might know about that. And it was on animal cruelty. And, I watched it and it was so hard to watch. And it hurt me so deep down in the core. I'll never forget that night. I started making dinner and I went to go get a pot out to cook. And I had a breakdown on the kitchen floor. I just stopped and break down. And that was the night. I knew it. I went vegan overnight. I no longer wanted this anxiety and fear and torture and pain in my body. I just no longer wanted to be a part of that. And so the tree taught me the true meaning of karuna. And this word karuna comes from India. And karuna means to diminish the suffering of others. And so I started feeling the animal's pain was my pain. Their happiness was my happiness. Their baby was my baby. Their fear, their anxiety and energy, it was like we were connected. And so I would continue to meditate at the tree. And, I found out that being vegan wasn't enough. I had to take action and be the voice for the voiceless. So the tree gave me an idea one day, why don't you talk to your own Indian people who are already vegetarian about the cruelty of dairy cows? So that's when I got a copybook and I started researching. Research, and just write. I didn't know what I was going to do with all this, but I just engrossed myself with research and writing. And then I called my mother and I said, Mom, I want to talk about the cruelty of dairy cows with vegetarians. I said, maybe at a temple, because I know at Indian temples, everybody's, it's vegetarian. There's nothing like that allowed at the temple. And so she found out a guy that, we've known for years. He's like an uncle to me. And his name is Dilip Shah, and he's a Jain, and he's a vegan. And he lives in Philadelphia. So she connected me with him, and we talked. And he connected me with Dr. Shulek Jain here in Houston, Texas. And he was so nice. He told me to come to the Jain temple. He introduced me to the president. And, one day the president asked me to speak. And that's when I put my presentation together. And it was called A Compassionate World. And now I've switched it to Dairy's Not Ahimsa. And, that's how all my journey got started. And I was born in India, but we came to America when I was 1 year old. And I come from a Gujarati family. We were always vegetarian in the house. But I think when my brother and I started school, my parents enrolled us in the lunch school program. And that's when my brother and I started eating non veg. And I think my parents thought we're living in America, we should adapt. And so I grew up just like everybody else, pizza, burgers, popcorn, ice cream, and lived the American way. And I lived disconnected all my life until I had my awakening.
Oh my gosh, what a story, Dolly. That is really something. And how wonderful that you figured all this out and then put it together with your origins, and taking this great action that you're taking. So maybe now's a good time to show the trailer to the Land of Ahimsa.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yes.
There he is. There's
1 minute.
There's the expert.
Yes, thank you so much.
It is time for India to say what she means and mean what she says.
India is the land of Ahimsa?
India? No. No, not at all.
Milk is something that is totally natural. If you're a calf and you're getting it from mom, who is a cow, but if you're a human baby, nature thought you would get milk from your mother, and that's the natural source.
Why all Jain and Hindu people are so much attached with all this kind of food? They can do 30 days fast, but they cannot stop one day dairy product.
If you look at the incidence of dairy use in India over the last 30 years, it's nearly doubled.
Today, milk is poison. It's not nectar. We have selected the cows to produce more and more milk. So now the cows are so big and they're producing so much milk. So literally when we drink that milk, it's trying to make us grow that fast.
If we just eliminated the animal products, we could live in a world of abundance. We could reforest the earth. We could then sequester the carbon. We could then combat climate change. We could also feed starving children. We could really have a land of peace, a land of ahimsa. We just need to make this one simple change, and we can do it.
Oh my goodness. Applause. I'm sure everyone is just overwhelmed by that. And I wanted to point out for anyone who might not know, some of those, that footage that you were showing where they're pouring liquid, that's milk that's being poured on some of the idols.
Yes.
Yeah, altars and so forth. So yes, please tell us about this. It's going to be so groundbreaking and so important.
Thank you. So a little bit, if people don't know, in the beginning of the movie, a lot of our gods are half animal, half human, you know, like Lord Ganesh, and Hanumanji is the monkey god. And then, of course, Gaumata, which is our cow. So in the temple, we praise these gods, but out of the temple, we're harming these animals. And this is not what God would ever want. And so it's a lot of hypocrisy going on there, you know, because we love these animals as statues in the temple, but yet out of the temple, we're harming them. And like Judy, you said, we're pouring gallons and gallons of this milk on the gods we love, but it's through artificial insemination. You know, the medical term is called rape rack. And now in India, the smallest villager knows how to inseminate a cow. And we're not living in Lord Krishna's time anymore. This is a different time where it's become very commercial. And people in India are having dairy 3, 4, 5 times a day, you know. So imagine how many cows we have to get pregnant every year, and the baby's taken away. And if people didn't know, India is one of the largest leather producers in this world. We're one of the largest beef exporters in this world. How could this be, where the cow is considered holy and sacred? So people just have their blinders on. They want to stick to these traditions because Lord Krishna loved, you know, ghee. But we really need to evolve from that and use plant-based dairy products, which are so easy. So easy. So the Land of Ahimsa documentary, it's a full-length documentary, um, you know, and it talks about Ahimsa, but we've gotten so far from this word, you know, which originated in our country. And it talks about my journey, how I go vegan overnight. I'm so passionate about being the voice for the voiceless. And there was a huge animal liberation march in India. And I started making friends with activists through social media. And they told me, you know, you got to come. And so I was telling my husband, I got to go and I got to walk with my brothers and sisters for this animal liberation march. And then I was invited to speak at the World Vegan Conference in Delhi. So I was thinking, you know, when I go, I'd like to interview these amazing activists and athletes and doctors for my small YouTube channel where I do a few recipes and a few interviews. And I slept on this for a while. And I woke up one day and I was telling my husband, if we're going to travel in India and do these interviews, why not just make a documentary? And my husband was very supportive. And he's like, one of my good friends is a Bollywood director in India. We called him up. He was ready to do it. And that's how all this came about. And so in the movie, you know, we get to interview people in my journey that I met in America and in India. So we interviewed plant-based doctors and athletes and activists, and we got to see PETA India and SPCA and interview spiritual leaders and vegan entrepreneurs, and some wonderful, amazing people are in it. You know, our executive producer is Dr. Shailesh Rao, who I met in my early journey. He is my Mahatma Gandhi. And Mr. Jerome Flynn from the Game of Thrones. And like you see in the film, that we got Dr. Neil Bernard and Philip Wolin, and, you know, just my heroes and my role models, and Dr. Will Tuttle and Jain, and Dr. Bandana Chola, Manish Chola, that from here from Texas, Dr. Kotecha and Dr. Riz, and even Keegan Kuhn, who I met in India, is going to be shown in the film.
So tell us about your vision for this film and how you're going to use it, and what you think the end result will be for millions of people watching it. And also tell us, when can we watch the whole film and where? Is it going to be something that we could show to groups? So how can we do that? Yeah.
Judy. So the mission of this documentary is, you know, I want India and Indians all around the world to bring this Ahimsa word back into action. And I know we can do it in everything we think, say, and do. And I want India to adopt veganism as the new norm in becoming the Ahimsa country we were always meant to be. And, you know, Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation in India, and my grandfather, Jaganlal Joshi, who was also a freedom fighter. And they always spoke about Ahimsa and they lived by Ahimsa. And so today I feel like I'm following in my grandfather's footsteps. You know, he was a freedom fighter and I'm a freedom fighter for animal liberation. And, you know, Gandhi once said that the moral of a nation can be judged by the treatment of its animals. So my dream is that India will rise up to the true meaning of nonviolence. We can do this. And there is a great vegan movement going on in India. While I was there, there were 10 Indian vegan restaurants. I met some excellent entrepreneurs who are making types of milks and mock meats and silk saris. They make them in a different material. I feel like the movement is there. And this movie is just going to bring everybody back home. You know, we need to return to the land of Ahimsa. And not just India, but the whole world needs to return to peace, harmony, equality, and freedom to all living beings. And of course, with COVID, now we have an editor in India. Everything was happening in India. With COVID, everything got backed up. Now I have another editor here in Canada, Ray Kolschwick, I think his last name is. You, I know you guys must know him. So he's helping me. And then, of course, we have to present it to a lawyer and we have to get a PR here in America and in India. So I'm praying, you know, in the next few months. And we'd love to get it onto Netflix, Amazon. That's our first avenue that we want to get it on, Judy. But everyone's going to find out about it. Please join me on Facebook, The Land of Ahimsa, Instagram, The Land of Ahimsa, and our website, www.thelandofahimsa.com. So I will keep everybody updated. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and that we get this movie out. Just because of COVID, everything got so backed up.
Yeah, but you're carrying on. It's going to happen. It's going to get out there. And so, and the Interfaith Vegan Coalition that Lisa and I co-founded, we can announce it in on our Facebook and the Vegan Spirituality Facebook, and let everybody know that it's out there, and in our newsletter and all that, because this is so important. And I wrote a book about Ahimsa. I love the word so much. It's so deep. It says so much. And I really believe that is where we're heading, that really is our true nature. And so I love what you're doing. And I love India. I've never been there, but I know that that's the heart of India. And the Jain, I think the Jain religion, isn't it one of the oldest religions in the world?
Yes, and I see that Jains are more willing to hear about this. You know, I'm Brahmin, and you would think Brahmins would want to make this switch, but Brahmins are just so they're into everything our Gita says and Lord Krishna, but the Jains are, especially the youngsters, a lot of them have gone vegan and willing to make that switch.
Yeah, there's a Vegan Jains website, I think, veganjains.com or something like that.
Yes.
And so they're open to the idea that to let go of milk altogether.
Yes.
But they've already got the foundation of non-harm, of ahimsa, to live by that. And in America, we need that so badly. We're just in general so far away. Like you said, you moved to America and start eating the school lunches, and it's horrible. It's so full of violence, and we're feeding that to children in this country. And so the idea of ahimsa, I have it on a license plate on the front of my car, and people will say, what is that? What what does that even mean? And it gives me a great opportunity to say what it means. And it's like non-violence, non-harm to all beings. I mean, all beings, including insects, everybody.
That's right.
And it's shocking to a lot of people. Why would you even care about that? So this film that you're doing and the work that you're doing is so important for India, but it's also really important in all the Western countries where the concept is so foreign and has been for thousands of years. And so I just applaud you for what you're doing. It's just so very important. And the idea of India leading the way.
Yes, and I think India will.
Really good.
Right now we've gotten caught away because all the Western philosophies have come to India, like now KFCs and Pizza Hut, and the youngsters are all into this, and it wasn't like this before. And cheese eating was never that popular in India, but now it's like cheese samosa and cheese dosa and cheese and everything. And we've gotten really far. And India is the diabetes capital of the world in vegetarians because all the saturated fat from dairy. So, the film covers animal cruelty, our health, our environment, all of it in a whole. So, I hope we all wake up and we can get back to our roots.
Right. Yes. Our roots, which is the truth of who we really are. We really are ahimsa beings. We're creatures that are here to, like you said, be ahimsa in thought, word, and deed.
Yes.
In every way. And then, as you pointed out, then we would have peace on earth.
Yes.
Because no one's harming anyone, because we don't really want to harm anyone in our deepest hearts.
Right.
So this is wonderful. I'm wondering, Lisa, if we have any questions in the chat. I haven't looked. There's a lot of chats there.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Well, this is the time. I suppose if anybody would like to ask questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can put them into the Q&A. That might be another location. So if you've joined us and you're either watching on Facebook, these are all places you can put your questions. So one simple question is, how long is the movie?
Well, it was really long, and they told me to make it 90 minutes. So it might be 92, but and I feel so bad because there's a lot of people I couldn't put in it. So, it should be 90, 92. Yeah.
Okay, good. So it's definitely, in that category of the movies you can watch when you're wanting to just have a little time to absorb and learn and discover more about the land of Ahimsa.
Yeah.
So Veronica is, typing here, and she says that her mother's home country in Ghana has been westernized in their diet, similar to India. And she just went vegan. So yay for Veronica.
Yay, awesome.
Way to go. And she's asking, how can we watch and share the movie? So so I think we're going to share it widely on our Facebooks, and you will let us know, Dolly, so we can announce it through Vegan Spirituality and Interfaith Vegan Coalition.
Yes, definitely.
And all over. I'm sure many of your supporters will also be announcing it. So, but we can go to the website, and that is
www.thelandofahimsa.com.
okay.
And I'll be posting it join me on Facebook, The Land of Ahimsa, Instagram, The Land of Ahimsa, and we'll be letting everybody know, you know.
Great. Okay. And then we'll hopefully be able to show the film to anybody who will watch it.
Yes.
Right.
And there's a couple other questions. One was, how long did it take to make the film?
Wow. Yeah. So I've been working on it since mm, like late 2018, 2019. Yeah. I went to India about 3, 4 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a lot of the interviews we did here, and then we went to India. So um, not that long, but putting it together takes longer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this would actually be a wonderful film to share at one of the Parliament of the World Religions because it does relate to the Hindu tradition, and I think it would be a perfect place to share it. And Judy and I went to the Parliament of World Religions with our Interfaith Vegan Coalition in 2018, and there were lots and lots of people from India there,
Yeah.
from the different traditions, whether it was from Jainism, from Hindu, also the Sikhs. So it would be really
Oh,
very
yeah.
effective.
Yes, and we cover that. You know, we cover that in the movie about the different cultures and what they do. Yeah.
Wow. So that the next Parliament of World Religions is going to be in person in Chicago in 2022, right, Lisa?
I think it's
Or is it
2023.
2023?
Yeah.
So yeah, so now's the time to let them know you've got a film that they have to show. They just have to.
Yes.
We won't let them not show it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll be a really wonderful opportunity to showcase the film. And also, there's a question here. What are some of the animal rights groups in India?
The same. So they have Cuban Cruise. They have gosh, I'm trying to think right now because I protest with all of my friends. You know, um, United for Truth, Delhi Vegan Activists. There's another organization called FIAPO, the Federation of Indian Animal Rights Organization. PETA India.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And we interviewed the one of the main people from PETA India, one of the directors there. So he
Oh,
was wonderful in the film.
and
Yeah.
also, is the film like kid friendly? Is it something that you think?
Um, yeah, I try not to show. It's not like Dominion where you can't watch. Yeah, it's not like violence you cannot watch.
Okay.
You can watch it. In the beginning, they kind of like I think when I was watching the Gary Yavovsky speech and I see a dairy cat being hurt, that's probably the hardest part to watch, or the leather in India. But it's not to the point where you can't watch it. I would think a 10-year-old, 12-year-old could watch it. Yeah.
Great. And another question is, how would you describe the cows being sacred in India these days?
Yes. Well, gosh, I want everybody to see this statue my mother gave me.
Mhm.
This is Gamata, which means Gamata means mother, and Lord Krishna is right here at the head. And these are all the gods. And Lord Krishna would say, never ever harm the cow. You know, and that's why predominantly in India nobody eats beef because people know that never harm the cow and praise her and take care of her. And this is baby Lord Krishna having beans. See that? So, but today cows are not treated like that. You know, people would have cows in their backyard and treat them like a mother and their baby and have them for the rest of their life. But we're not living in that era anymore. You know, it's just not sustainable. And so in India, you'll see so many cows on the street. Uh, it'll be the male cows, or it might be the female cows that are not producing milk, or um, they've been put on trucks for illegal slaughter and legal slaughter. Cows are protected in India, but buffaloes are not. And a lot of people in India are drinking buffalo milk and goat's milk. So
Mm.
um, there's so much cruelty in dairy, I can't even tell you. It's really, really sad. It's very, very hard to watch because I saw so many cows on the street and I just wanted to, I'd go to a banana stand and just want to give them bananas and water. And I visited a few dairy farms in India and it's hot and they separate the baby and There's also a thing in India that they call kalbacha, where they kill the baby and they stuff it and they put it in front of the mother so she might produce the milk. And it was heartbreaking to watch, you know?
That sounds incredibly painful and torturous, that
Yeah.
practice that you described.
You know, a lot of people would say, oh, we don't treat our cows that way, or ahimsa milk. Like a lot of the Hare Rama, Hare Krishna temples here in America will say, well, we have ahimsa milk. But, you know, then I ask them, how do you, how do you first get the cow pregnant?
Yeah.
How often are you taking this milk? Because in the temple, they're still pouring all this milk per day on our deity. And how many cows are you going to get pregnant? And how many can you feed and water? And so there is no such thing as ahimsa milk. And now that I'm more aware as a female, you know, that cow only wants her baby at her udders. And in India, they'll tie the legs and tie the tail. Why? Because she'll want to kick naturally. Because the only person she wants at her udders is her baby. So now I just feel there's there is no extra milk, there is no ahimsa milk. It's for the baby, and that's it.
Wow, that's profound.
That's so right. And I've heard that there are also things like ahimsa silk, which
Yeah,
of course can't be
right,
ahimsa,
right.
but it's called that. So even in India, they're co-opting the word ahimsa,
Yeah,
wouldn't you say?
yes, yes.
And yeah, labeling things ahimsa when there's nothing ahimsa about it.
There's nothing. There's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really love her, you know, take care of her. Take care of her without taking. You know, we need to create more and more sanctuaries actually in India. I visited a few, but my dream is let's just take care of the cows that we have and stop producing them for this milk because you know, Dr. Rao taught me when I talk at temples, you can always use coconut milk when we're giving respect to our deities, or coconut water as drinking water. And when we're lighting our divas in the temple, which is like a candle, but we use cotton and ghee, we can always use coconut oil. So we don't have to change our tradition, but we can align our values with our actions of a pure ahimsa temple. We would never have beef in the temple. So now, how can we ever have dairy?
Wow, I love the way you said that. And also these incredible alternatives that you're providing for people. These are great ideas because it's helpful that we don't tell people to change their traditions, but only to change how they do their traditions, or
Yeah.
maybe to alter them slightly. That's really beautiful. I know when I was traveling in India, I was traveling behind actually this beautiful it was a truck with had these beautiful painted cows. They had just been part of this very special holiday and they were painted. But then we were following them on this long and windy road. It must have been hours. And they were actually being transported to slaughter in another, in Kerala, which is another area in India. So that was really upsetting to learn that they were celebrated one week and then the next week trucked off to slaughter.
Yeah. It's so sad. It's so sad. And that's why it's so hard. Ghee and dairy it's so embedded in our culture. But we need to really evolve and educate. Like a lot of Hindu temples, when I want to talk, they'll just give me the runaround. They don't even want me in there because I believe deep, deep, deep inside, it's the addiction. It's the addiction. Once you stop that addiction with your tongue, and of course through meditation, all this, you know, we don't even want that. You know, we want to be free from all. We want to be liberated and be free from all violence and everything. But people just don't want to know. They want to stick to the oh Lord Krishna. But you know, Lord Krishna, you'll never see a picture depicted with Lord Krishna having milk when he was an adult. And even when he was a child, it was ghee. And he was a cow herder when he was a little boy. He was a cow herder, and he loved his cows so much. Nobody was tied. He'd play the flute. All the cows would come. It was peaceful. The calves were with their moms. In the village, people barely had enough ghee or milk for the people, and that's why he would steal it. He would steal it, and the ghee would fall. And all these are stories. I think deep in my meditation now, maybe this is just a story, you know, because maybe Lord Krishna back then did not. We don't know, but I feel like these are just stories, and we need to just learn the a beautiful story that Lord Krishna is trying to say in the story,
Hmm. Yeah. Well, we also have a question, and this is someone asks, Alan asks, have you contacted Eric Garcetti about supporting this cause since he will be the next U.S. ambassador to India?
Oh gosh, could you please help me? Because yeah, we still need some funding to finish, and that would be great if you can contact me with him. That would be wonderful. Yes,
Excellent.
thank you so much.
Great. So let's see if we have any other. Oh, there's another question. Have you ever seen a small booklet or flyer that's geared to help dairy consuming Indians, people from India, to switch over to going dairy free? So are there any materials or handouts that you know of?
I have some, but in India, the activists are passing out pamphlets. And when I was in Delhi, just like we have here, somebody makes it. I forget the name of the organization, but it does talk about alternatives and recipes and how athletes are doing great, and all Indians. I'm trying to think of the name of the organization, but they make a wonderful pamphlet, and activists are passing these pamphlets out. Yes.
Great. That might be interesting to do in combination with your film. I know that Thomas, who did A Prayer for Compassion,
Yes.
he's put together some materials to go along with this film, and that might be wonderful to do for you too, because I think people will really want to hear more and get resources and learn how to take the next step.
Yes, that's a great idea. And Thomas Wade Jackson inspired me. I met him in Phoenix, Arizona with you, Lisa, and I saw his film, and I saw him sing in the forest, and I related so much with him, and he's helped me so much with this film and start. And I was just so scared. I'm just a mom. I didn't know if I could do it, and he's been wonderful.
Oh, well, this is an incredibly empowering story that here you are meeting a filmmaker and then becoming one yourself. That's truly empowering, and I hope that everyone who's listening in can hear that and realize that each of us have the power to do something really remarkable to help animals in our own way. So thank you very, very much, Dolly. Such an inspiration.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see if there's any other questions, any other.
And people can you unmute people if somebody wants to say something or ask a question? If you want to raise your hand.
Yeah, we did have someone raise their hand, and it looks like Frank. So let me go ahead and just, Frank, I'm just going to promote you to a panelist so you can say something if you'd like. So Frank actually, just to give a little background, Frank has our Interfaith Vegan Coalition tabled at the Jain convention a couple of years ago, and Frank was the person who was there to do that. So Frank, you're welcome to unmute, and if you'd like to ask your question, you can.
Hi everyone. I'm really moved by the story. It's a story that we all share, definitely. Thank you so much. Let's see, are you able to see? Let me see if
You're echoing a little bit,
oh, there
Frank.
we go.
Yeah, you might need to unmute
Oh,
or
there we go.
show your video.
Oh. I'm actually walking, so it is my
That's okay. I think we're.
I went to India.
Oh, okay. Here he is.
Okay. I went to India. I visited many temples and did many puja. And I was really surprised to see the use of milk and I told them that I was vegan, and they didn't even understand what that was. And I asked them to use rice milk in food, which they did, which was fantastic. Now, this was about 15 years ago, but I think there is a great business opportunity in India for people to produce net milks for India and to help that transition.
Yes,
And
Frank. But
yes, go ahead.
yeah, Frank. So actually, I met a few. There's a guy named Abhay Rangam, and he has a product called Good Milk, and he's making it from peanut. He's making like we drink buttermilk a lot in India. He's making buttermilk. He's making mayonnaise. He's making milk from peanut, and there's another one called Plant Beta, and they're making like mango milkshake and um, all kinds of delicious items out of plant-based milk. So the vegan entrepreneurs in India are it's happening. It's happening. There was a vegan grocery store in Mumbai that I went to, and it had all the almond milks, cashew milk, rice milk, India, of course, coconut milk, so many.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for asking your question, Frank. I'm going to bring you back to a
I
attendee.
wanted to ask Frank something real quick.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
When you did the tabling at the Jain thing,
Jain convention.
Yeah, at the Jain convention. Did you have any special literature that you were handing out?
You know, that was an amazing experience because, as you might remember, the food line for vegetarian was about 80% and the vegan was about 10%. But at the end of the conference, it switched. It was 90% for vegan and 10% for vegetarian. After the constituents there, the attendees heard what vegan really was. And I really think that was a real testament to the work that we did there and getting the message out about the cruelty of animal products and animal milk.
Wonderful. Thank you
Wow,
so
that's
much,
great.
Frank.
Amazing. That is amazing. And I was asked to speak at one of those conferences, but I had to go to India. And then the Young Jains of America asked me to speak, but then we had the COVID. So I'm looking forward to meeting that group. They're wonderful. And when you can switch from 10 to 90 or what you said, amazing, amazing.
Yes, so there's definitely value in doing the tabling at some of these different conventions, whether they're vegan veg fests or even a faith-based festival like the Unity Convention or the Jaina Convention.
Yeah.
So thank you, Frank. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Um, let's see. So I think we're coming close to the end of our time together. Let's see if we had any other questions. Anyone else?
I've got a question. I have heard that a lot of people, because they're not supposed to kill their cows, once they stop producing milk, they just send them out into the street and they eat trash and get really thin and sick, and nobody takes care of them. Is that right,
Yes,
Dolly?
absolutely, absolutely. Because the farmer will say, sometimes the farmer starves the cow and say nature took it, or poisons them, or puts them on the street, like you said, and they're eating plastic, and they're dying that way, or they're getting caught for illegal slaughter. But it's so true, Judy. There are so many cows on the street eating plastic, and they're thirsty and they're hungry, and it's so sad. And this time when I went to India, like when I was young, and I live in the state of Gujarat, and my aunt would always put leftover food out, and these cows would come to the house, and in the front yard they'd eat all the food, and I thought it was amazing, a cow, and the farmer would milk the cow and give my aunt fresh milk. But this time when I went, I was like, my eyes were open to seeing everything. I was just feeling all so bad for this mom and baby tied and the flies and walking on the street, and it's yeah. Once the cow is no more profitable, let's face it, they're gone. It's just not sustainable anymore.
Yeah, so this really speaks to the whole premise of veganism, why we don't want to have animals as commodities, because it just doesn't seem possible to be kind and also have them be a commodity, because we benefit from the financial equation. And so it's really important that we allow them to be in their own right, to have their own lives, and that we live in coexistence and collaboration and connection with them.
Exactly. And when I go to Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, it's all I want to do. Every birthday, I feed the animals and I spend time with the cows and the tree. But you never see cows run because they're always scared. But at Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, you see them run and they're free and just so beautiful, so beautiful.
Oh, such a nice image to have.
Yeah.
Um, I'm wondering if maybe this might be a good time to do our closing. I think that Dolly, you were going to prepare something for us.
Sure. Thank you so much. So yes, I want to pray to Lord Krishna and Gaumata. Dear Lord Krishna, Gaumata, thank you for using me and others as an instrument of your love. Thank you for sending all of us all around the world to talk about why dairy is not ahimsa, at least not anymore. Please let the world vibrate higher to love consciousness, truth consciousness. May all wake up to their inner compassion and go vegan. May all people understand that all life deserves a chance to live and to be in freedom. Dear Lord Krishna, dear Gaumata, let there be a quantum shift of thinking, and may all protect the most precious thing in this world, life. Philip Rowan.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
And in a non-violent world, not only India will be the land of Ahimsa, but the entire world will be known as the land of Ahimsa. Dr. Shailesh Rao. Thank you.
Wow.
Namaste.
Oh, that is
That's so wonderful.
amazing.
Thank you, Dolly. Wow.
And Judy, I'm so touched by your homo ahimsa. When I heard it first, when Dr. Rao was talking about it, I am so touched that, we won't be known as Homo sapiens, but in ahimsa world, we're going to be known as Homo ahimsa. That is ultimate, Judy. And I bow down to you. That is beautiful.
Well, and that means that we all have to grow in consciousness. That we can't just stay where we are. And so we have a lot of animal rights work to do and a lot of inner work to do to recognize who we really are. Yeah. Dolly, thank you so much. This has just been heavenly.
Thank you.
And
I love
so
you both. I'm
inspiring.
so grateful. I'm so grateful.
And we're equally grateful that you chose to spend some time with us and everyone else today. And we're so excited about your project. And we know that you are part of this big shift by putting this wonderful resource out there that people can learn and around the world, and make that you're opening the eyes of everyone so that we can all see, and then we can all become Homo Ahimsa.
Yes. Beautiful.
Wonderful. So thanks to everyone for joining us this evening. We truly appreciate your time and that we were able to explore veganism as a spiritual practice together. Sometimes we end with and this seems so appropriate for tonight. It's actually something that Frank taught us long ago. It was Namaste Vegan, yeah? Namaste Vegan, just opening our hands to the shape of a V.
Ahimsa
Namaste.
Paramo Dharam. Namaste vegan.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much to everyone. We hope that you all have a wonderful, blessed evening, and that we look forward to seeing you again the next time we do one of our interviews. And thank you, Dolly. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mwah. Good night, all. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.